Have you ever heard the name Frank Kemeny? Probably not, but he's actually one of our LGBTQ icons in history. He's no longer with us, but he was the first person to bring about a case of LGBTQ discrimination in the workplace in 1957 for reals. So that's actually kind of the birth time of homophobia, discrimination, and harassment as we know it in modern times. And that's because it was during the 50s. What political movement was really big then? McCarthyism, right? Senator McCarthy pretty much launched a propaganda machine that communism and communists, the people who believed in it, were weak, were morally reprehensible, were prone to lying, were not that intelligent. There was a lot of different aspects of how he framed people who believed in communism, which started the whole anti-communism era. So what happened on the flip side of that was he started tying in known homosexuals to the same behavior. So he wasn't just saying communist, he started saying communists and homosexuals. And he, with no basis, with no proof, with no science, he was saying that people who engaged in homosexual behavior were also prone to lying, were dishonest, were not that intelligent, etc. And so they should not be allowed to work for the federal government. So both communists and known homosexuals would be prevented from working for the federal government. And if found out, could be fired legally, could be discriminated, could be harassed, all legally, because it was done in the concept of protecting the US federal government. So Frank Kemeny was a scientist for the US Army in the 50s, and he was outed and promptly fired. And he was the very first person to take this to court, to say my sexual orientation has nothing to do with how I perform my job as a scientist for the United States Army. There was a march on the Washington Mall. There were articles in newspapers all over the country because this was the first time this fight had really been fought. Now, he did lose, but it was a huge step in getting the rest of the country to realize, yeah, what does his sexual orientation have to do with how well he performs his job? It's when we really started to think about things. Now, after he passed away in 2011, the US government did issue a formal apology, which is also a huge step in the right direction. Sometimes organizations have a really hard time admitting when they haven't made the best of choices. So this was a huge step. And now you know about Frank Kemeny, one of our awesome LGBTQ historical icons.